Hey y'all, it is Tirza. I'm just going to try to do a quick update, but you know I'm chatty. I'm in my daughter's room right now, which is kind of a hot mess. She has a lot of things. It's not like dirty, it's just a lot of stuff. But this is the only quiet room right now, so I had to come sneak up here, even though my husband's working overnight right now for this week. But, you know, when daddy's not home, the kids are a little more, or the kid, because my two daughters are a little bit older now, but they tend to be a little bit noisier and not like, I don't know. So here I am. I'm in my daughter's room. This used to be my room at one point in time in the early 2000s, the third floor. But it is now basically it's like her own apartment up here. And yeah. So I'm all over the place already. I'm so sorry. I'm tired. Yesterday I spent most of my day in the emergency room. And that's why I'm making this video. So when I made my last video, I noticed that my teeth were a little dark. And like the next day after that, they looked about 2 shades darker, like brownish and like grayish is the best I can explain it. So I was a little concerned because I was also having a lot of pain throughout my whole entire mouth, like in my jaw on both sides, all here. If I touched it, it was just excruciating pain in here. And it got to the point that it was so bad that I called the dentist and made an emergency appointment. They got me in that day, which was Friday, October 3rd. And they saw me and they said that my teeth seemed still strong and fine. I had just been there June or July for my 6-month checkup. And they thought everything looked good. My teeth were darker, but it could have be for any number of reasons, which I'm now thinking it was acid reflux. I hadn't gotten the fluoride treatment in years because I refused to pay $50 for it, and I still don't have any cavities or anything, so I figured I'm doing fine without it. But they did give me the treatment. So they didn't charge me for the appointment. I just got charged for the fluoride. That was that. They said everything was fine. But after the 3rd, I started to have a lot more problems. Not necessarily with my face. My whole face was hurting, man. It was bad. It's still lingering pain, but not nearly as bad as it was. I figured that was because I had like a little light cold. And sometimes I taste sinus fluid, so I thought maybe I just have some kind of sinus infection or allergies or something. I don't know. But then I started getting pains, severely dull, achy pains, just driving me crazy in my left upper quadrant up here. And it was not comfortable. And it started there, and then it became my back on both sides, which I always relate to kidney pain because anytime I've had any kind of kidney thing, like a kidney infection, that is where it hurt and how it hurt. And then it started wrapping around my whole entire back from my left side, wrapping around my back. Like it just progressively every day was getting worse. Then it was on the gallbladder side as well, and then wrapping around the back. And it was just getting bad, bad, bad every time. And I noticed it was a lot worse whenever I ate. So I was trying to hold off on going to the emergency room or anything like that, or urgent care, because I knew I had a doctor's appointment that's coming up October 24th. So I was trying to hold out. But then this one day I did not sleep at all, like wide awake. I was watching Netflix and stuff, just wide awake, couldn't sleep. I was in so much pain and I was just trying to but that's not even why I went to the hospital, because I don't like to miss work. I work as a home health aide, although I have no knowledge of healthcare at all. I'm not a nurse. I'm more there as like a companion. And I clean, I do laundry, prepare meals, go shopping for her. And I don't like to miss that because it leaves the person, But lucky for me, that person is my friend my whole entire life. She's basically my sister. So when if I have an issue, she's cool. But it's a company that provides this service through the government. So I had to call out through the company. So I had to do that. But what triggered it was the hospital was I went to take a sip of water that was at my nightstand. And from that sip of water, I thought I was going to puke and the pain was bad. And I really thought I was going to vomit. So I was like, okay, something is really not right here. Maybe I'm having pancreatitis or I don't know. Something's not right. I just had a colonoscopy a couple of months ago and it was beautiful, but something's going on here. So I go to the hospital. They don't do any imaging in my abdomen. They do run blood work because of my age and I'm still having jaw pain and the the pain is in the upper part, they did do a chest x-ray and they did an EKG. Everything came out normal. Blood work wise and my urinalysis wise, they were a little nervous that I had ketones in my urine, but when they looked it up, I always have ketones in my urine, which is weird because like when I'm more carnivore, except for on fasting days, which my ketones can go pretty high, I really am not in ketosis normally. So I find it interesting that I always still have ketones in the urine. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. But the one thing that was wrong with my blood work is, once again, my magnesium was low. And it was even lower than it was when I got my blood work done in April. And I supplement the crap out of magnesium because I take magnesium not just because of the electrolyte loss when you're in a low-carb, keto, or carnivore diet, but because of my neurological issues from having had brain surgery. How many years ago now? Wow. 2002. So 23 years ago. It's soon to be 24 years ago in January. Because my sleeve surgery and my brain surgery are almost 10 years apart to the date. Not quite. I think my brain surgery was January 22nd, I want to say. I'm not positive. And my sleeve was January 17th, 2012. And the brain surgery was 2002. So anyway, here we go again, off on another whatever. So I'm a little concerned about the magnesium thing. I'm starting to think like maybe I should get the DEXA scan like that nutritionist said. So I'm going to bring that up with my doctor. I mean, my grandmother did have really bad osteoporosis. But again, she was from a part of Italy where they did eat meat. Like she had pigs. And they ate like all the organs, like they did tripe and brain and stuff like that. And they did have like, I think goats or sheep, not her specifically. Like my grandmother had pigs though, but like where they were, they didn't really have cows like that because they were on the mountain, or like fish, even though like now the Adriatic Sea is so close by car from where they lived, I'm sure they could fish or whatever, but then it wasn't like so simple. There wasn't the roads or anything. So like my dad used to call portobello mushrooms. He said the portobello mushrooms were poor man's meat. So that was like what they ate, a lot of fungi, whatever, and veggies and stuff. So they did eat meat though. Like they ate meat. Just where he was from in particular, it was just not as accessible. But they ate what they could and they ate it all. Anyway, so I always wonder, maybe that was why she had osteoporosis. And like when I used to watch this woman eat, she would cook all this food for us. Oh my Lord. And she would eat nothing. She would put cornflakes in her coffee. And that's the only thing I saw this woman eat. Like hardly ever saw her eat. So I just always assumed, and she wasn't super skinny either. Like even though she was thin, she never had a weight problem. She was like a big boned like me type of person, I guess. But never had a weight problem like I have. So I always thought that was the issue, like because of how she was eating. But I think I should just maybe get that checked out, because one of the things I've read about magnesium is there's a lot of magnesium in your bones. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know. So I'm going to bring that up with my primary. Also, I'm going to go on the 24th to see what he says, and I hope I can get a DEXA done through my insurance, because whatever. So anyway, that's that. So the magnesium is still lower than before. So now I was at the lowest range to be normal, the very lowest number you could be, and now I'm like 2 points under what's normal, the lowest normal. So that's a bummer, because especially like I said, I do supplement it every single day. So yeah, so I want to figure that out. But anyway, by the time I got home from the hospital, I was like 22 hours fasted, because I hadn't eaten since like 2 o'clock the day before. And then I got home around 12. So I hope I'm doing the math right. I don't know. And I felt a lot better. So I was like, maybe it's the food. Maybe it's what I'm doing. I don't know. I had a coffee because I needed a little something. I had to go pick up my son from school. Did I get home at 12? Maybe it was like 12:30. I don't know. It's not important. I was there for like 4 hours. I wasn't in the emergency room that long. So I had a coffee. I didn't put the coconut oil in it like I usually do. I used to do a tablespoon. Now I do like 2 teaspoons, which is close to a tablespoon because 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon, but whatever. I didn't put that. I just put a little bit of sweetener, and I put my 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. I don't recall now if I did the collagen powder or not. And then I had that. I tried to relax. And then I went and walked to go get my son. And then when I got home, I was just not going to eat because at this point, like, it was 3 something. I'm like, why would I even bother eating? And I feel so much better. Like, I still had pain, but it was so much better. So I was thinking of not eating, but then I was really hungry. So what I had in the house, I had ground turkey. I don't know who bought it. Maybe one of my daughters. I made that, which is not something I normally eat. So it was a pound of ground turkey. I cooked it in butter. The seasoning I used was, I usually just use salt, sea salt, like the pink salt, or Redmond's salt. But I used adobo because that was right there, and I was just like, I need to, and I don't usually like to use the adobo. Not that there's carbs or anything wrong with it, but it does have like non-caking agents in it or whatever, and that's always makes me the thought of that. But anyway, I did that, and I think like 3 or 4 eggs, and a piece of Asiago cheese and a piece of extra sharp provolone. Very small. Like, I don't even think the 2 pieces, they may have equaled a serving. The 2 pieces, maybe. I haven't had cheese in like 2 weeks. So that was my first cheese in like 2 weeks. Had that. Was not really able to eat. Just wasn't digging eating, man. Not that it tasted bad. It actually surprisingly tasted really good. I also put a lot of butter. But I was able to eat about half. So I put the rest away. And I realized that, yes, the pain did come back after eating like a little stronger, but it was not even close. Not even close to the pain that I was having. So today, I cooked I did my ground beef. I did one of the Applegate Farms 0 sugar hot dogs. Cooked that in butter. But what I did was, because I had to cook the meat anyway, it was going to go bad. So I cooked all the beef, cooked it with the whatever. And then I put the beef away. And then I mixed it a little bit with so I mixed it all together. So I had the ground turkey with the beef and the hot dog or whatever. And I put a portion of it, which probably wasn't even a pound. And I reheated that later, and then I put 3 eggs. And that's what I had today, and a lot of butter again. And once again, I kind of feel all right. I do still have the pain, but the kidney pain is almost 90% gone. The gallbladder pain, none. The left side and around the back is also about 80 to 90% better. So I'm like, what was I doing differently? And my mom even said that. What were you doing differently? What were you doing? I'm like, Mom, I've been eating this way since December. Like, literally, I don't know. The only thing is I ate a lot less these last 2 days. But then it dawned on me that I do use stevia in my coffee. I use the liquid stevia, which unfortunately, there was like a pure stevia one that I used to get. They don't sell it anymore, so I'm back to having the stevia erythritol mix, which I'd rather not have. It does taste better though. But I did wind up getting that one again. But they were out of that as well the last time I went shopping. So I was using my daughter's that I bought for her at BJ's, like this big box. I think it's Truvia stevia, which is also a stevia erythritol mix. And I made sure that one wasn't cut with maltodextrin like some of them are, because then it's like totally pointless. Why even use it? It wasn't cut with maltodextrin, but it is in powder form. And depending on the coffee I was having, because like the Target caramel macchiato or the Bailey's hazelnut, I only need 1 packet. It's already like a little sweet to me for some reason, and so I only need 1 packet. But all the other coffees that I have, I use 2 packets. So I'm wondering, could that be the culprit? Because that was something I recently changed, and I had done for about 2 weeks or so, was this powdered stevia rather than the liquid one. And also I did wind up getting the liquid one again like 2 days ago, so I've been back to using that. So I don't know if that's it. But another thing I was doing was, instead of just the Applegate hot dog, I was putting in it was, I can't pronounce it, andouille, I think, Andouille sausage, which has spices in it, and I love hot and spices, and it's been like a while, and I do okay once in a blue when I do Tabasco, like with hard-boiled eggs, so I thought that that was fine, but maybe that's the culprit, because that was also something new I was actually doing the last 3 or 4 weeks. I also wonder if I was just doing too much fat. Now, I don't think so, because I wasn't having liquid stools, so I thought my fat content was fine, but I was eating all the rendered fat plus butter plus and bacon. So I haven't been doing the bacon. I didn't do the andouille sausage, and I'm not using that stevia. And I did eat yesterday, and I did eat today, and I'm feeling so much better. Not 100%, but better. Sorry, I thought I heard someone coming, and I don't like when I make videos. I'm embarrassed because I know they're a train wreck. And then especially if my family hears them, and my husband one time told me he watches them sometimes, and I thought I was going to die. Like I wanted a hole to open up in the ground. It's embarrassing. I don't know why. Anyway, so I don't know if those are the culprits. So far, so good. I hope it stays this way. My doctor's office actually called and said, we saw you were in the ER. Do you need to come in? I'm like, well, if I still feel like how I feel now, I'm not that scared anymore or nervous. So I can just hold off and talk to him when I come on the 24th. So she said, okay, but if things get worse again, make sure you call us. So I said, okay. So that's where we're at, guys. Still not losing weight. Gained 23 pounds in 3 weeks. Doesn't come off in I feel like it's been 3 months. I don't think it's been that long, but it's been a long time. And I've been monitoring and measuring and everything, and nothing's changing. Nothing. And then I felt like I was going to die for almost 3 weeks. God forbid, I shouldn't say that. Oh, that's like a terrible thing to say, but you know what I mean? Like I just felt rough, like real bad. So again, I don't know if it was the sausage, the stevia, too high of fat, the bacon maybe even, because I cooked the rest of my pack of bacon and I gave it to the dogs. It still smelled fine, but I didn't like the color of it, and she didn't eat it. So I don't know. But anyway, this is the longest video I think I've made in a million years. So I apologize. Until next time, guys. And I hope next time I come with a really positive video and I say, hey, I'm 188 right now and I feel fine.